Today in the crypto space, we see the market looking pretty good. Bitcoin getting a nice bounce to the upside, up approximately 1.5%, and Ethereum up approximately 3%, leading the altcoins to higher levels. We have some good gainers today in the altcoin market like Solana, AVAX, Polkadot, Kaspa, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about Solana. I definitely want to give you guys a Solana update. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. We see the overall market cap getting another move to the upside, testing the local high. Maybe we go for another higher high here, which is pretty good. We see the trading volume getting a small bounce to the upside, but still in a downwards trend while the market cap is moving up. We want to see the volume kick in here, guys. We want to see a nice sustainable move to the upside with regards to market cap, supported by market participation, which is the volume. We need volume to come in. If we keep on going down, we do see a lot of these projects, a lot of this price action is definitely moving up. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of these altcoins right now are doing great. Look at Solana. Of course, today we're going to talk about Solana. We'll look at the general market. We'll talk about Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but I want to focus on Solana, not only the price action, but, the bullishness that is coming out of the news lately. We also have Altcoin, nice grind to the upside. It is an ascending type of wedge, so be careful there because they do have a bias to break down, but I feel like what we're really trying to do is break to the upside here, given the fact that we see a lot of good strength in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the general consensus of the market, it looks like it wants to move to higher levels. Look at AVAX. Even Cardano's coming up again, maybe looking to break those previous highs. We have Polkadot waking up out of nowhere, 9.3% to the upside. Great move on Polkadot. We have Chainlink waking up a little bit here, and we do have a bit of sideways throughout the market. Uniswap kind of going sideways, Near Protocol kind of going sideways, and a few others, but generally speaking, we're seeing a lot of strength. Look at Kaspa, up another 9.5% for the day, up 24.5% for the last 7 days. Great stuff for Kaspa. I feel like a continuation to the upside is definitely possible here, and obviously as the market looks bullish, if the altcoins get their season, I'm expecting a lot of these strong projects to do very, very well, and Kaspa included, of course. Fed coming down for a retracement, down 13.1%. We do know that a few of these AI projects are getting together very soon. I think FET, Ocean, and I know there's one more, AGIX, is coming together, into one token. So keep an eye on that. And some of exchanges are not supporting the conversion. So be prepared that you may have to kind of, get out of your positions and then reaccumulate into that new token. So keep an eye on that. What else do we have here? We have Render looking for a push to the upside, breaking out of previous highs. So a lot of good strength here. Look at Filecoin. Look at the structural break that is around the corner. If we break these tops, it looks like it's ready to rock, ready to move to higher levels. So is Maker, and so on and so forth. You can see the market's looking pretty good, although there are some projects still kind of going sideways, like Arweave at the bottom of the range. Arweave was showing a lot of strength in the last little while, and it's still showing strength. So I'm looking at good risk to reward ratios on those, looking good, despite I know a little bit red here. Confirmation low, higher low, maybe looking pretty good. Bitget token is waking up. A lot of this market right now is doing amazing. Pith and so on. EOS doing great. Algorand finally doing something, maybe going for another higher high. Jupe is doing good, up 10% for the day. And as we keep on scrolling down, guys, there's a lot of goodness coming out for today. and we could expect a continuation to the upside. What's really interesting, guys, if you've been following me here on the channel in the last little while, there was a period where I was bullish and I was maintaining my bullish stance until invalidated. It invalidated. Now, then I turned bearish and we started coming down. And then all of a sudden now I feel like it's time to pivot. We can't always stay in one direction. We need to be able to shift from bullish to bearish. We need to be able to get into the bull's shoes and into the bear shoes so that we can be prepared for whatever happens to this market, and staying one step ahead is the way you do it. All right, guys, let's jump right into some charts. I know you're to talk about price action, so let's take a look. We'll take a look at Solana in a second, but first I want to see what's going on here with Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin telling us in the immediate short term? The only thing that I can say is Bitcoin right now is respecting structure. We do see it getting a nice hesitation at the bottom of the range, and I know a lot of us are questioning whether this is going to hold or not. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. What's going on here is that Bitcoin right now is in a battlefield in the market in general, because if Bitcoin loses the battle, Bitcoin falls, everything will fall. Most likely we see a huge dip in the altcoin market and everything else, right? So this is the thing that we need to be worried about. Is Bitcoin going to hold? However, as long as we see the price action above 60,500, more or less, right around this level, I feel this thick white line is always obviously has been a great indication of support. If the price action stays above it, I have no choice but to maintain a bullish stance. Why? Because as we build this little structure right into here, I'm starting to get the inclination that it might be a great area to go into a long position based on the fact that it can easily mitigate risk based on putting a stop loss right below it. Now, if we quickly just get into the 4 hour, I want you to see what's happening here. And this horizontal line, guys, I just want to give you context. This horizontal line back onto the daily, this one right here has been in this chart for a long while. It's not like I just put it in today. It's been here. If you've been following me along, you can see how horizontals get respected. Even though we go down below it and, you know, we over exaggerate, the market tends to come back up because that's where the true value wants to hit. And you can see that right now it's doing pretty good. Let's go back to that 4 hour and you can see what I mean. It fell below, over exaggerated, a bit of a long squeeze, came back up, back test, confirmation low, higher low, and it looks like we're trying to use the previous price action, the previous support, as support again, even though we scrubbed right through it, which is a good sign. This is a swing failure pattern. It's a very common pattern. If we break above the previous high on the local high, it's likely we're going to be starting to test higher levels here, guys, and we will see Bitcoin move to higher zones. Now, ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is that even though we dip down, this is looking like a strong opportunity to get into a long. Putting a stop loss right underneath here, especially once we get the structure going, would be an ideal scenario for a long position to expect the price to get back to range highs, which is at about 71,900, give or take, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, so just keep in mind that we are looking at this range. This range right now needs to be respected for multiple reasons. If you're a bull, you want this to be respected because you can range trade from here to here, no doubt. But in addition to that, look at this massive bull flag here, guys. If we start breaking the range highs and we start going to higher levels, guys, we're going to see a big explosive move to the upside, which we definitely want to be prepared for. This is why getting a bit of an allocation, having a bit of a bag here is not a bad idea. If we start looking at momentum oscillators and trend oscillators, let's do that. Let's get onto the daily. Let's reposition this. We can see that the Bitcoin price did come down to oversold conditions. So we're in a good state to take risk. It's a good opportunity to say, you know what, we're not buying tops. We're waiting for momentum to get completely oversold. We want to see signs that the bears are done. Maybe another dip down would be okay to see some bullish divergence. We only got one data point here on the daily, which means that we could afford a little bit more data, another touch of the bottom. Some sort of double bottom here, so some sort of consolidation or structural support, that would be awesome. And of course, giving us more confidence, and as we build the confluence in the chart, we do see an EMA coming down, green, red histogram bars, and we also have the blue expansion still down, which means that the bearishness is still here with regards to trend. We can still continue to the downside. There's no indication that we're done pushing down on trend. Although we are oversold, no bullish divergence, we could stay oversold a little bit more to see what the the bears have in them, and this is why I am very hesitant. This is why I call this a battlefield, because ultimately it could be that the bears have a little bit more strength in them and we could come down for another dip or another touch of the lows or some sort of liquidity grab that comes down, wicks again and gets back into the structure. So in the meantime, I am very comfortable waiting. I'm very comfortable being patient and waiting for structure, although it does look great now as we see the price action above the horizontal support and respecting it as support with those multiple touches. All right, guys, let's jump right into the Solana price. Let's see what's going on with SOL, because ultimately SOL is showing a ton of strength. Now, I did put in this dotted line early on, and it is kind of respecting it. Here we touch the wicks, couple of wicks. We can include or exclude the wicks. I like to kind of like be straight with all of it. If we're gonna include the wicks, let's include the wicks across the board, not pick and choose. If we want to just do bodies, we can do bodies as well. Regardless, it looks like some sort of consolidation where we eventually get into a tighter range, and as we get closer to the apex, we start to look for an expansion out of the consolidation out of the triangular pattern, and that usually comes right around here towards 70%, more or less 70% towards the apex is usually where we get that expansion. Now, just keep in mind that Solana currently is being talked about not only based on price action because it's up, but this is what we got in the news, guys. This is what we got in the news. We have breaking VanEck files for a Solana ETF. Guys, this is really bullish. This is good. Not only do we have an ETF in our neighbors to the north, of course, in Canada, we do have a Solana ETF that is lingering, perhaps going to be, approved or very soon. But also we have it here in the United States. Pretty good. Securities and Exchange Commission suggesting that Solana, may have an ETF and might get approved, which might be really good for the Solana ecosystem, given that, it's another smart contract platform next to Ethereum. Ethereum's one still needs to be listed, and we're waiting for potentially Solana. So we're seeing that the market is reacting based on this news. The market is reacting based on the fact that Solana is still bullish. It is still a bullish thing. Meme coins are still alive. We do see a lot of meme coins waking up today, particularly the political ones. So something to consider. And ultimately, we're seeing a nice consolidation. Now, what we want to keep an eye on is this previous high that is being respected. We want to see that we do have this little volume gap that is currently being respected. We want to notice that there's the 200 daily EMA that is currently being respected. And we also have to understand that if we continue consolidating, we can continue going sideways here and making lower highs and higher lows. In that case, we totally squeeze right into here. If you look at momentum, we got a nice bounce to the upside, which is looking really, really good. So maybe we start tracking to overbought conditions very soon. But keep in mind, guys, one thing that I'm worried about is the fact is that momentum did not get oversold yet. So the purple line didn't get past or below the 30% mark, which is kind of bothersome to me, because that is where usually we get the last capitulation. That's usually where we get the most impulsive price action to the downside. And I would like to see that happen so that I can rest assured that it's not happening anymore. At this point, we could definitely get a rejection, come down to oversold conditions, and get the one last hurrah, get all kinds of people wrecked, and then continue to the upside, right? And that's usually sometimes the market does that just to induce a bit of pain. So this right now, I'm kind of concerned. I'm definitely concerned, but we have to understand one thing: because the price action is within a consolidation, meaning it is contracting, getting into a triangular formation, we could expect the momentum also to get in that triangular type of formation where we do not get overbought and oversold in any extreme ways until we get that expansion, because momentum will also contract alongside the price action. So something to consider. We didn't get overbought here. We're not getting oversold here. We continue maybe contracting until we get some price action in the chop zone, and then expansion either way, up or down. Obviously, the bias is to the upside right now. Let's take a look at trend. What's going on with trend? We do have a bit of a mess here, so let's kind of emphasize what trend is doing. EMAs crossing, green histogram bar to the upside, and we see the expansion slowly tapering off. Signs of bullishness, no doubt. Looking pretty good here for Solana. So ultimately, Solana is in a good stance. We do see Bitcoin doing some really interesting things at structural supports, horizontal supports, and we see Solana getting a lot of good bullishness both from the news and the price action. Let's take a look at the 4-hour real quick here on Solana. We do see that at one point it was a bit of an inverse head and shoulder type of scenario, and we're getting a bit of an expansion to the upside, and we're just looking for higher levels. Guys, I wouldn't be trading the 4-hour right now because there's a bit of a mess right into here. Let's see what momentum looks like. Momentum is getting overbought. It's already overbought on the 4-hour, so we could be due for a bit of a corrective move. But remember, the majority of the move is when we do see the momentum oversold, and we just entered oversold conditions, so we can continue pushing to the upside. And until I get signs of bearish divergence or an indication that we're ready to roll over, look at the MACD. The trend oscillator is still, it looks like we're going to get a fake out here. You know, if you think about it, what's happening right here, you know what I always say, I don't like those concave type of retracements. Look at this, how this is dipping. We could definitely start moving to the upside again. Look how this is growing. This looks interesting. It looks like Solana is ready to continue going with regards to trend. 100% looks interesting here, guys. So I'll keep it on a watch list, no doubt. It's time to realize that you may want a bit of a spot bag on Solana. You may want to, you know, if you're getting into leverage, just understand there's lots of volatility coming around, but spot bags you need to start accumulating. I feel like we could come down a little bit more on Solana. It's very possible in the immediate short term. Why? Because if you get on the higher time frames, guys, I understand that this low, it looks bearish because it is a lower high. It is a lower high, but we're in the consolidation, in my opinion, waiting for the expansion. So be patient here, guys. Be patient. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, see you tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.